Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Aquarius pre-full moon meditation. The exact time of the full moon will be tomorrow, Thursday, January 25th at 5:54 p.m. GMT. Some places listed at 5:53, others as late as 5:55. But it's 5:54. It's listed on Morya Federation, so we'll go with that. So I'd like to start by taking a moment to remember and to acknowledge our spiritual elder brother, Michael David Robbins, who passed 2 years ago at the time of the Aquarian full moon, just a few hours after, if I'm recalling right. Michael, we are so grateful for your guidance and for your amazing contribution to the Ageless Wisdom teachings. As Dorothy Caldwell stated, what a generous, kind, intelligent man. You are so well loved. Godspeed, Michael. So I'm sure by now he's well placed in his service on the other side, or who knows, maybe incarnating again. Okay. So let's start with taking a brief look at the astrological chart for this full moon, which is at 5 degrees of Leo. Every time the sun moves through Aquarius, it energetically prepares humanity, and especially aspirants and disciples, for the Aquarian energy that will dominate the coming age. As aspirants and disciples, we can use this energy to prepare for the 2025 hierarchical conclave, which will guide humanity's ingress into the Aquarian age. As the vertical arm of the fixed cross, the Leo-Aquarius axis, represented by the sun and moon, is particularly important to discipleship since it represents the path that leads from individual to group consciousness. This axis also represents head and heart alignment. DK says, as the interplay goes on between Leo and Aquarius, for they are polar opposites, there comes a deepening of all qualities and the superficialities disappear until, upon the reversed wheel, the intensive self-consciousness of Leo expands into the group awareness of Aquarius. The individual becomes the universal man. Man alone and separative becomes mankind in his reactions and awareness, and yet, at the same time, preserves his individuality. He is no longer just a human being, individually self-centered and separative, but becomes humanity itself, losing his personal identity in the good of the whole, yet retaining his spiritual identity. From self-service, he proceeds to world service, and yet is always the individualized Son of God until after the third initiation. Okay, let's take a look at the full moon chart. Pluto entered Aquarius on January 20th, where it will stay, except for a 10-week retrograde back in Capricorn, starting in September. It will stay for 21 years, which for many of us will most likely be the rest of our lives. The sun quickly followed Pluto into Aquarius, thereby heralding Pluto's ingress, really a momentous event with a Sun-Pluto conjunction. Pluto's Aquarian ingress will play an important role in the evolution of humanity over the next 21 years. For Pluto reveals that which needs transforming in relation to the symbolism of the sign it is in. So in Aquarius, we'll see Pluto revealing the hindrances, dredging up that which hinders a fuller expression of, for instance, the energy of freedom, of returning power to the people, of fomenting democratic forms, in short, of developing horizontal rather than top-down structures, not only in government, but also in the financial sector, in communications, as well as in science and technology. Pluto hovering at 0 degrees Aquarius continuously heralds the end of the old and the beginning of a new phase in human development. Aligning with this new energy requires that we let go of fear, make the decision to thrive, and use our collective spiritual imagination, which DK describes as, quote, the factor of greatest service to man, to visualize an environment in which all humanity can thrive. Also, in the realm of outer planet activity, Uranus, now stationary, is about to go to direct just in a couple of days. I think it's the 27th, which, since Uranus is the exoteric ruler of Aquarius, even though it's in Taurus at this time, will further increase the Aquarian influence, adding its energy to that of Pluto as an agent of revelation. The keynote here, the relationship between these two planets, oriented towards the Aquarian ideals, the keynote here is volatility. As the new high-frequency energy meets and transforms old, outdated thought forms. We also have a fixed grand cross between the Sun conjunct Pluto in Aquarius, the Moon in Leo, Jupiter, Aquarius's esoteric ruler in Taurus, and Haumea, one of the 5 deep space Pluto-sized dwarf planets in Scorpio. Haumea fosters the energy of rebirth, of natural laws, of creativity, and of transformation. This grand cross also heralds Pluto's ingress into Aquarius, amplifying its potency and aiding the shift from Piscean ideals to Aquarian ideals, from a top-down to a collective power-sharing paradigm. There's a lot more going on, but those are the primary indicators this month. Okay, Aquarius. The exoteric mantra, which applies to personality-based Aquarians, is let desire and form be ruler. The banner for Aquarius gives us the esoteric keywords. Water of life am I, poured forth for thirsty men, suggesting that those for whom this mantra has become a reality identify with the source of life itself. Water of life am I. I am the path. This will increasingly become the keynote for us as we strive to become world servers. Aquarius is particularly meaningful for us now as we stand on the cusp of the Aquarian age, which promises an upliftment of humanity through the externalization of the hierarchy, who will literally pour forth the water of life for a thirsty humanity. Okay, Here's Jofra Beauchart's image of Aquarius, in which we see 7 lotuses representing the 7 major chakras being nourished by the waters of life. These chakras can be seen as the centers within each of us, within the human kingdom as a whole, and also as the kingdoms of nature that form the centers in the body of the planetary logos. The service-oriented Aquarian begins by carrying the water jug on his shoulder, but when he or she becomes the path itself, the water jug is shifted to the head, a metaphor for activation of the head chakra. And at this point, the disciple becomes one with the law of service. From a cosmic perspective, the whole earth can be seen as a water vessel, the nourishing mother aspect called by Hindus Vash, which is charged by Shambhala, the source of the life aspect on our planet. The skull represents the illusion of death, which seems to many a dreaded specter during our long sojourn on the 3 planes of human endeavor, but which is in reality a portal leading to the unseen worlds, which Aquarius rules. Note the little figure standing right in the middle of the portal, facing this shining city on the hill. The exoteric ruler of Aquarius is Uranus. Michael made the observation in his 2021 Aquarian pre-full moon meditation that though Uranus is the exoteric ruler, it is nonetheless the major ruler of Aquarius. One reason for this being that the moon veiling Aquarius rules Aquarius hierarchically. The moon veils 3 planets, the highest among them being Uranus, which makes available to us the electrical revelatory energy of occult mind, an energy that is especially potent right now as Uranus moves from stationary to direct motion. In Esoteric Astrology's opening paragraph on Aquarius, DK says, this constellation is one of supreme importance to our solar system at this time, for it is the sign into which our sun is rapidly moving, and its influence is gaining in momentum and adding potency with each vanishing decade. It is therefore largely responsible for the changes now being effected in our planetary life, in all the kingdoms of nature. And because it is an air sign, its influence is all pervasive and interpenetrating. And this was, 80 years ago, 90 years ago. So it's all the more so now. Heracles' Aquarian labor epitomizes the work that must be done as we move from the now regressive influence of Pisces into the new age. He accomplishes this 11th great task entitled Cleansing the Ogian Stables by diverting 2 rivers into the stables, thus washing away the accumulated filth of thousands of lifetimes of personality-centered activity. AAB tells us that these 2 streams are life and love, and their use will, quote, embody the technique of the Aquarian age. And with that thought in mind, let us begin our meditation. So if we could, spines erect, and begin to, through deep breaths, calm the physical and the astral planes, the astral bodies. Take a moment to center yourselves. and realize that your presence here is part of this group presence, and that is a potential group unity that we are gradually creating through these cyclic meditations. So let us together lift our focus onto the mental plane, and where it is possible to enter into the presence of the soul. DK tells us to create a point of tension at the highest point in the head and as high up on the mental plane as we can. And this acts as a bridge to our souls. As you deepen into this contact, feel yourself moving into a field of light, of love, and of spiritual power. Let us now merge ourselves as individual souls into a deep sense of the group soul. We can facilitate this merging by visualizing a ring of white light with each of us as points within that ring, connected by that ring. And at the center, the Master DK, who is one with the group soul. As our sense of unity strengthens, let us extend this quality of inclusive connection out to the spiritually minded people of the world, including all men and women of goodwill. Now, in a conscious act of further extension, let us visualize our group soul merging into the one soul of humanity. In this act of inclusion comes the realization that there is no my soul and thy soul. In fact, it is in the living awareness of this unified field of consciousness that we can truly say, naught is but me. Now, bringing to bear the will aspect of the soul, let us visualize a potent point of tension within the mental unit, demonstrating as the color of your soul ray. This point of tension will form the foundation of your antakarana. If you don't know your soul or personality rays, use the second ray, color indigo. Now let us visualize our dual-colored individual Antakaranas, made up of the colors of our personality and soul rays, connecting the mental unit with the monastic permanent atom. Project this dual strand of color imaginatively up to the monastic permanent atom. In group formation, this helps us to build the group Antakarana. As this connection grows stronger, visualize our individual Antakaranas merging into the group Antakarana, which glows with all the 7 colors, but primarily the deep indigo blue of the second ray, reaching into the realms of the spiritual triad. Holding this sense of identification with the group soul, let us together affirm the great word of power of the second ray. I see the greatest light. Now let us imaginatively project a line of vivid, living white light into triadal realms. This group light is immediately met by a light from on high. In the presence of this great light of the spiritual triad, let us, as a group, attempt to feel the presence of the Great White Brotherhood, the Lodge of Masters, the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. Now, with heartfelt gratitude, let us offer our salutations to the Masters and to the head of the hierarchy, the Christ. Salutations to the Buddha, the Lord of Light and Wisdom. Salutations to the Christ, the Master of all masters. Salutations to the triangle of masters with whom we work most closely. Salutations to the Master Morya. Salutations to the Master Kothumi. Salutations to the Master Dwal Kul. Salutations to the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. Now, as a group, let us lift our thoughts to Shambhala, the center where the will of God is known, and with deepest reverence and in all humility, attune to the presence of Sanat Kumara, who stands at the center of Shambhala. It's in this heightened state that we can come to realize that Shambhala is the planetary center through which the energies of the constellations and the planets enter our world to be distributed to all living beings on Earth. Now let us turn our attention to the spiritual qualities emanating from the three planetary rulers of Aquarius: Uranus, Jupiter, and the moon veiling three planets. Let us first focus on the potency of Uranus, the planetary source of electric fire. Consider Uranus's power to transmute, transform, and transfigure, leading the reordering of the lower worlds in accordance with the pattern in heaven, the archetypal pattern. Let us as a group open our consciousness to the impressions borne upon the Uranian stream of energy. Consider how you, the groups through which you work, this group might best employ the transmutative qualities of Uranus for the betterment of humanity. Let us now turn our focus to the beneficent power of Jupiter, the esoteric ruler of Aquarius, and open ourselves to the expansive energy that bestows group consciousness and group love. Jupiter, the conveyor of life more abundant. Let us imagine ourselves becoming imbued with the divine qualities of Jupiter, and consider how you, your group, this group, might help to liberate our planet from the heresy of separation through the energy of group love and the wisdom thus created. And finally, let us lift our focus to the influence of the moon, the hierarchical ruler of Aquarius, here veiling Vulcan, Neptune, and Uranus in relation to our physical, astral, and mental sheaths. These influences lead to the transfiguration of the human personality, which in turn leads to the transfiguration of the personality of humanity. Vulcan, purifying the etheric body, Neptune, stimulating aspiration, and Uranus, opening the door to the occult brilliance of the higher mental regions. Imagine the energy of these three planets streaming into the physical, astral, and mental sheaths of the group through which you serve, purifying and consecrating them for spiritual work. Now let us turn our attention to the solar logos, which expresses itself through our sun and the solar system. Consider the fact that we are ever immersed in the potency of love wisdom that pours through all the planets of this system, through Shambhala, and through every monad, soul, and personality on planet Earth. Finally, let us lift our focus to the transforming energies of the constellation Aquarius, the water carrier. DK describes this constellation's particular quality of light as the light that shines on Earth across the sea. This is the light which ever shines within the dark, and cleansing with its healing rays that which must be purified until the dark has gone. Attempt to feel this purifying light and its profound relationship to the fifth ray of mind. Now, as a group, let us turn our attention to the mantra for Aquarius. Water of life am I, poured forth for thirsty men. Think of the I as this group. Water of life are we, who is one I, poured forth for thirsty men. Imagine yourself, the groups you work with, this group, in the role of water carrier. And finally, let us visualize the following energetic downflow, starting in the constellation Aquarius, flowing down through the solar logos at the heart of our system, through the triply veiled moon to Jupiter and Uranus, into the hierarchy, into Shambhala, then on down through our monads into the hierarchy, through the great Lord the Christ, and into and through the ashram with which you believe yourself to be increasingly associated. Then on down through the soul of this group and the groups with which you are affiliated. And finally, down into your spiritualized personality. Now, while as a group holding this high alignment, let us, through the eyes of love and compassion, consider the world situation and imagine some one way that the transforming energies of Aquarius might uplift and redeem humanity and the planet. While still holding this high alignment, let us, with hands upraised and intoning the Om 3 times, send a group blessing into humanity so that it may rise to its true spiritual potential and thus fulfill the divine plan. And we'll finish with the great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Okay, thank you all.